guys, Mr. Mabini here. Welcome to my Civ 5 scenario map, Oceania 2016. Actually we've had an election. I think a bunch of countries have had elections, but it's based on some things. Anyway, so we're playing as England, which is actually Australia. So it's not a modded scenario, it's kind of, I screwed around with a map that I found and I liked, and I credited the dude. I modified it slightly because two of the islands of Indonesia were connected even though they're not supposed to be. And I just set up civilizations and stuff. And yeah, I like it. There's a bunch of things that need to be corrected, but I don't want to because it was such a stuffy thing to get right. You gotta play around with everything, and getting the thing to run took a while. And you can't actually straight up download it, you have to put it in things. Alright, so one of my favourite things about my map is you get to decide where your capital's going to be. And I'm going to choose Adelaide, because that's where I live. And then we're going to pump out a few... Hobart, I don't know what I want to do. But see, if you play as Australia, you have this massive happiness problem. And so I'll go and get all these buildings done, and then I will talk a bit more about it. Alright, so we've gone to the next turn. It's the 2056, as you saw, Elizabeth of Australia. And so I've got the colours of America and the Civ of England. There's Kangaroo Island. There's mountains and stuff. I didn't make this map, I don't entirely agree with it, but I like that it covers a lot of the region that I live in, which is cool. I think that's the cool thing. So you select your capital and you start pumping out stuff. I don't know why this has got a harbour. Oh, I think some of the cities have got stuff in them. As you can see, this has got a huge amount of stuff, just like in real life, which you get this kind of bias of Australia, but you kind of, when you play as a little Civ, like East Timor, which is my favourite one to play as, you've kind of got a bit more benefit from having less cities, and you start off with positive happiness and no negative things, and so you could build up an army and take Darwin or something, which I tried to do, but I didn't have the military or the economy to do it. But as Australia, you would have the economy to do it. Alright, so we've got a lot of workers and warriors being built. I think I need to build another warrior in Adelaide. And it's kind of tricky here with the mountain as the city. Brunei's got that sort of problem as well with its capital, where it is the mountain, and I think that means you can't actually capture it. But yeah, as Australia, we definitely need to go for the wheel and roads to solve this big happiness problem. And Jesus Christ. So okay, I'll do a Pantheon quick. so all these cities are all real names and stuff. Some of them I've never heard of, like Nalumbai, Weipa, Camberwell, Victoria River Downs, and Onslow, maybe Albany. Euclid I've seen on a map. Anyway, so it was a fun thing to make this mod. But definitely the smaller nations are a lot more fun to play as, and you feel kind of significant. Except if you're East Timor, which like I said, I played a lot of East Timor, because you're right next to Indonesia and you can kind of be friends with them, but Indonesia is a little bit aggressive. So there's a huge bias there we've got. Alright, I didn't know that some of these well, it's not even a bug, it's just a unfair benefit, I guess. So the goal of this video is basically to talk about the maps a little bit, and then also to we'll talk about the map, and also to point out a few problems, maybe, or to look at a few problems and address them. This video obviously won't be coming out until long after the map. In fact, I made it public today, because I thought, oh yeah, I'll just do that, I'll just make it public, and then it'll be good. But I expect the people might not like it because of how unfair it is to play as Australia, or to play as, to not play as Australia. If you play as Australia, you get all the benefits. Basically, Australia, you've got so many cities that you will benefit massively. And if you play as Indonesia, the two countries have the most cities. There is no New Zealand, I know that, but it's mainly because the person who made the map didn't include New Zealand. Papua New Guinea, I think is something I would like to play as, because you kind of have this little goal in your head of conquering West Papua, which is the part of New Guinea that is owned by Indonesia. And that would kind of make you a massive power if you take out something owned by Indonesia. I have played as all of the civs that I've got on this map, because I made it. I should probably know a few things about playing as every single one. I think Laos is fun because it's completely landlocked. You've got just this one city. You only have the one city and you're completely landlocked. And so that makes it kind of fun. I also worked out exactly how much culture everything would have and how much money each country would have. I mean, obviously Australia's got a lot, but there's also China on this map because China have a little island, and so I included that in the map because that is on the map. And so I put that in my custom scenario. Actually, the reason I'm doing this is because my friend Ice No Tomato said, "Oh, you should do a video on Civ." And I have done videos on Civ for Friday Night Fun, but then I'm doing this instead because, there's a reason I made the map. I should probably do a video on it because I also do videos. Is that it won't be long before suddenly you really need open border treaties with everyone. If you're trying to be friends with everyone in the Pacific, which is pretty much where you'd be like when you're East Timor, you're sandwiched in between Indonesia and Australia. So you gotta pick one really. Pick one you want to be friends with. Which is a really bad time if you mid-game decide, no, I want to be on this other guy's side. We have the most cities out of every single civ in the game. You can play as Palau, which in this version of the map is the Federated States of Micronesia, but it turns out Palau is not part of that. And I don't know why I made that mistake, but I did. And so in-game it is actually that, but technically in the description of the map scenario, it is Palau, because that's what it's supposed to be. In fact, Myanmar is just called Morocco, I'm pretty sure. Everything is kind of really important in my scenario, especially as Australia. If you're East Timor or Palau or Philippines, everything is just a breeze. It's so easy. Somebody wants to do a video of this map, and what am I thinking? There's no point in me talking about something that might happen in the future, or it might not. But if anyone wants to do a video with me about the map, or anything really, because I like collabs, then I'm all for it. Which actually, I watched Northern Lion with some friends last weekend. And we watched some Northern Lion while we were eating dinner, and his commentary is kind of babble, where what he does is he kind of, one minute he's talking about the game, next minute he's talking about pasta or something, and you're thinking, what is this? What are you talking about, you crazy person? I like how there's kind of cities there in the mountains, apparently. It's the Blue Mountains range that's west from Sydney, which kind of blocks it off from the rest of the country because it's everywhere. It's mountains. It's like Mount Barker in between Australia, South Australia and Victoria. Australia is such a big place, and the British were all panicking to colonise it, that there's cities everywhere and you need roads. What a crazy experiment. They messed everything up. Here we go, killed him. Yeah. How did he kill two dudes? How did you let him kill two dudes, you crazy people? But I tell you, East Timor, I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun to play. Philippines, you'll quickly explore everything if you just go straight for triremes and trade, and it will be incredible. Also, there's this kind of weird bug that you start in year 3500, or you start in year 2076 or something like that. And it's supposed to be 2016, but I don't know why. No, it's more like, I think it's year 7056 or something really crazy. But as you can see, we have tons of road. We are now at positive happiness 0, but there's East Timor. That bit, and then, well, technically it does not take up this entire portion of the island. It takes up a teeny bit here, like half a tile. But Civ doesn't deal in half tiles, and I thought it would be a bit nice to give East Timor an entire tile there, because they'd be like, you know, Indonesia, you've got everything, and we have nothing. And they chose that capital, okay. Yeah, that one. So for the most part, some of the civs choose the right one. Often they only have, it just depends on like whatever the first one is, and they always just go bam, quick, pump out a palace, and then you've got everything done. But anyway, so we got our Papua New Guinea, and there's the border with West Papua, and it goes all the way up here or something. I got my boats going on, sort of pump out a heap of boats. Yeah, we got more coming, more boats. Basically, every city that is non-water pumps out shrines and temples, and then everything else pumps out boats. So there we go. That's my system. It's the way I'm doing it. There's another map idea I've got, which is to divide Australia into the states, so you can play as the Northern Territory, which is here, and then you can play as Western Australia or South Australia or Victoria, where you got middle, and then New South Wales, which is, and then Queensland, which is all, actually no, it's all, because Queensland just wanted more land. They said, hey, can we please have more land? South Australia got more land, so you know we want more land. We're just trying to be really cool, okay? Just trying to be good friends. Okay, here we go. Borders, go. I freaking hate you. Indonesia is the worst civ. Here we go, boom. And then boom. And then boom. Open borders, I swear, is so important, especially with Indonesia. You always need Indonesia, Malaysia, countries that have got territory across waterways. What's this capital? Good, he did the right one. That's the proper capital of Indonesia. There's a few civs that are one tile, but it's, yeah, you got Singapore's one of them, and Palau. Britain is so far away from Australia that they're like, dude, there's no space. We had self-government, and there was a whole bunch of self-governing colonies, and they're like, we need independence. There's no point in us being considered part of your country if you're that far away. It takes that long for you to get here to tell us what to do. We just might as well be our own country. It's Micronesia, but shush, it's supposed to be Palau, because Palau is, that's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be, but it's wrong. I got it wrong, and I can't be bothered fixing it right now. All of these countries that I'm influential with, so it's really easy to become influential with most countries. So Thailand is more difficult, probably because of how far away it is. Indonesia is a really big country, lots of cities, so it's more difficult. But what we've got here is archaeologists that are digging up heaps of cool stuff from the ancient world. And so basically, if you play as Australia, you have this huge advantage in this massive landscape to dig up old stuff from. And so I've rapidly started attracting Indonesia's attention when it comes to tourism. And so that's pretty much, if you want an instant win, if you want a guaranteed win, you play as Australia and go for tourism victory. But I would rather play as a smaller power because they're more interesting. And then you can see Australia from a different point of view, I feel. But Australia generally doesn't declare war on other countries, so I think it's probably an important thing, but it is England, and England's all... I think if England sees a weakness in Civ 5 under Elizabeth, then that is a thing. She might just declare war because you're weak. So that's some more advice, I guess, or information if you need it. See you next time.